Hi there, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to do a short video about starting our sweet potato slips. And I did just a little research before starting my sweet potato slips, so I want to go over some of the important facts before we get started. First, we're going to compare the difference between the russet potatoes and between the sweet potatoes. And you'll see I've got two colors of different colors. This one sweet potato is what we call a yellow potato, the other one's called a red. And of course these are just standard russet potatoes. And this is one I grew last year that is saving real well. I did, yes, break the eyes off of it before I started my video, because when I got it out of the box it really was starting to sprout. Won't be long till I can put those sprouted potatoes in the ground. And talking about the difference between the two types of potatoes, both of the potatoes are tuberous root vegetables, and most people are aware of that. Both potatoes grow underground underneath the plant. Actually, and this is what really surprised me when I started getting ready to do this video, I expected them to be from different plant families simply because of the way the plant itself looks. A lot of plants look different, yet they'll bear their fruit or their tubers in a similar fashion. But I was really surprised. Do you know what family the sweet potato belongs to? I didn't know. It's actually a member of the morning glory family. And that kind of surprised me. I see morning glories growing wild in the garden everywhere. I never thought about the sweet potato vine coming from the same family. And it kind of makes a little sense. I've actually had our sweet potato vines to bloom, and the bloom looks very similar to a morning glory. The regular potatoes, what I call a standard white potato, or an Irish potato, or if your country, an Irish potato. And I have heard them called Irish potatoes most of my life around my family. Those plants are members of the nightshade family. Why did I not know that? I guess I just never looked it up. So I found that to be two interesting facts about them. Sorry about the geese in the background on the lake. I'm outside, so there's not much I can do about that noise. They don't honk. And I do call it honking all the time, but they are quite noisy at times, especially at night if they get startled in the least. All right, let's continue about our discussion of the two types of potatoes. I've always heard that a sweet potato is actually a healthier potato to eat than a white potato, and that's not exactly true. I found that out too during my research for this little video. Both potatoes actually have about the same calorie content as far as the levels of proteins. They're very, very similar, and in most cases, if you're comparing a 3.5 ounce helping of white potatoes and a 3.5 ounce helping of sweet potatoes, they're going to have the same protein. The fat content's going to be the same. There really is not a lot of fat in a plant. There are some that are, but potatoes is not one of those plants that has a lot of fat content. Carbs, they're about the same. And see, that's where I always, for some reason, thought there were less carbs in a sweet potato. And the reason I thought that, they don't affect our glucose levels in our blood. Now, for those of you that follow my channel, you probably know that I'm a diabetic. I come from a family of diabetics. My dad was type 1. My mom in her later years was a type 2. All 5 of us siblings ended up being type 2 diabetic. I've always thought of sweet potatoes as being healthier because they don't affect that sugar blood or glucose blood reading as much. And the only thing that I can see that's different between the two potatoes is the fiber content in the sweet potato is a little higher than it is in a white potato. And that's about the only difference that you can see when you're looking at a chart. And I know from being a diabetic that foods that are higher in fiber tend to digest a little slower. They stay in our gut a little longer, and for some reason that fiber helps prevent that glucose level from spiking so bad. One thing that really surprised me is that the nutrition levels is about the same in the two potatoes, whether you're looking at a white potato or whether you're looking at a sweet potato. As a matter of fact, the percentage of vitamin A is actually considerably higher than a sweet potato. It's 107% of your vitamin A daily value that you're supposed to have. Now, the white potato, it's only 0.1%, so there's hardly any vitamin A in a white potato. The sweet potato has 17% of your daily value for vitamin B12. The white potato also has B12 in it, but only 12%, so there's not a lot of difference there. Now, vitamin C, there's quite a bit of difference. Believe it or not, both the white potato and the sweet potato contain vitamin C. The vitamin C level in sweet potatoes is about 22% of your daily requirement, whereas the white potato, it's only 14%, but you're still getting both. Now, when it comes to minerals, both potatoes have potassium. And here in the mineral side on the potassium is where the white potato is better for you. You get 17% of your daily requirement of potassium in a white potato, where it's only 10% of your daily value in a sweet potato. You move on down to calcium. Now, here the sweet potato is a little higher, but it's only 3% of your daily required value. And the white potato is only 1. So neither one has really a large percentage, but you are getting some calcium. Magnesium, they're both 6%. So when you look at the nutritional value in the potatoes, there's not a whole lot of difference. And I would have told you there was much, much more nutrition in a sweet potato, because we've always been told, oh, they're so much healthier for you. Well, they probably are for a diabetic, but definitely they're not any better for you when it comes to nutrition. So hopefully you're going to grow both types just the same as we are. Glycemic index. All right, enough about the difference between a white potato and a sweet potato. Let's get on to our video and let me show you how we're going to grow our sweet potatoes. The first, and I do mean the very first thing to do, is to sprout your potatoes. You can go to the farmer's co-op, a feed store, a garden center, and buy your slips. I actually went online and looked at some of the potato slips that you can purchase from some of the seed companies, and I'm shocked. I saw 7 just regular standard orangey colored sweet potatoes, 7 slips, $25. I about fell over. So it was real important, because I'm thrifty. I mean, I live on my Social Security and what we take from our retirement accounts. I don't work. So it's going to be much, much better for me to produce my own slips from the organic potatoes that we have bought at the grocery store. You can take this potato, and I'll show you here in a minute, and put it in water to sprout it. My very first potatoes that I started trying to sprout, they've not started sprouting yet, but they will be soon. I actually buried those. So let's get on and show you the difference in 2 ways. Yes, 2 ways that you can sprout potatoes. And if you're like me, the only way I learned something to see what is the best way is to do both things at the same time and compare them. Lucy, are you just looking for somebody to bark at? Lucy likes to do that when the neighbors come by when we're out here. All right, I have got 3 dirts filled with some of our homemade potting soil. Now, I've not taken time to water this, but one of the things that we're hoping to grow this year is some sweet potatoes. Now, I bought a big bag. It says 3 pounds. That seemed like it was bigger than that, but I guess it was just 3 pounds of sweet potatoes. I've eaten all of them except these 3 little ones that are left in here. They're going to be ideal for me to put in these pots. And today is February the 10th. They should have been in there 2 weeks ago, but hey, life happens. Do things when you can. I'm going to put these sweet potatoes in here and see if I can get them to sprout. So here goes nothing. Now I know that when I'm sprouting these, I'm not going to want to bury them real deep. The only one that I've ever helped sprout potatoes was my father before he died, and he didn't bother to start his until the weather was warm enough outside. He would put his in the ground probably about the 1st or 2nd week of May, and he would grow enough sprouts in no time out in the garden that he would then take those sprouts, plant them. We'd raise our sweet potatoes. We did work them back in those days and kind of keep them weeded and everything, because weeds growing in them will absolutely cause you not to be able to grow sweet potatoes. The weeds will take all the strength out of the ground. But we'd work those sweet potatoes, and he would wake us up the first day before frost, or if frost suddenly happened and the leaves got hit by the frost, we had to get out there and tear all those potato tops off and dig those potatoes before they could turn black, he would say. I don't know if they really turn black, but that's what Dad always said. And I do a lot of my garden based on what Daddy said. Now that my potatoes are in that soil, I'm going to water it good. And then I'm actually going to carry these pots back in. And that one's sticking out of the dirt a little bit. Probably this one will be too. But remember, I'm just trying to sprout potatoes here. I'm just wanting them to sprout. I'm not trying to actually grow sweet potatoes in these pots. These are just used to grow sprouts. The sprouts will be pulled off of these potatoes and planted in the ground in a row to produce our sweet potato crop for 2021. Alright, as you can see, I've got my sweet potato pots here underneath a grow light on the shelf. And they're actually setting on a plant starter heat pad. That's one that I've had for a couple of years, and I use it constantly when I'm trying to get something started. Okay, now I'm going to show you the second way that you can sprout potato slips. We're going to take our sweet potatoes, and you'll notice I don't buy the extra large ones. I find these are a little bit more tender and have a better flavor than the extremely large ones. So I'm going to take this. There is an end here where the potato was attached to the vine, and we have the bottom where the root was. We're going to stick this in our jar and leave about 1/3 of it sticking up. And the way I'm going to keep it from falling down in there is I'm going to simply use these toothpicks. We're going to stick these toothpicks in our potato without breaking them. That's the key. And I don't want to punch too many holes in them. I don't want them to rot. All right, got one on each 4 sides. I drop my potato down in there. This is going to be filled with water, and I'm going to take it and set it in the sunroom. Now this one I want to set out where it can get plenty of light from the sun. Okay, I have my potatoes, all 3 of them fixed here. I've got my little watering can that we use in the house to water our plants. I'm simply going to fill each of these jars up with tap water and leave just the top part of the potato above the water line. And as I said, these are going to set on a table out in our sunroom. So we're going to see which does better. Okay, we've got our potatoes with water up. That's covering 2/3 of the potato in the bottom. The top is above the water line. We'll take these and set them in the sunroom on a table. And then we'll see which sprouts faster. These potatoes are the ones that are out under the grow lights in our detached garage. I believe that those have been out. I'll go back and check because I film everything. I can tell you exactly what day I do things. I'll go back and check and see, but we'll see which one actually sprouts the fastest and which produces, and this is important, which produces the most and best quality potato slips. As I said, you only learn things from trying a couple of different approaches, and it's best to do them at the same time so you can make a comparison. Gardening is all about learning better ways to grow the produce you need. We want to thank you for watching our video, and I hope you will have come away with some information that you can use as you move forward in gardening. And as always, if you're not already a subscriber to our channel, please subscribe and click on the little notification bell so you'll know what's going on our channel. And if you would and have the time, we'd appreciate it if you would share our videos on your social media sites. Let other people know about us. It's important. That's how we're finally starting to grow. Thank you and have an absolutely blessed life.